Hi, I am New. Today I want to share with you a lighthearted and funny romance anime. Tomo-chan is a girl. The story begins with an unlucky girl who causes other girls to be jealous when she takes a bath showing her ample body, and she is often harassed by horny men when taking a bus. Besides, she accidentally exposes her body in front of Junichiro, the boy she likes. The girl is named Tomo, and she has been very distressed lately. Not long ago, Junichiro jokingly slapped her ass because of her boyish personality. Tomo has always been treated as a boy by Junichiro. In order to become a couple with Junichiro, Tomo finally plucks up the courage to confess her love, only to be misunderstood by Junichiro that Tomo is talking about the friendship between boys. Tomo feels so helpless that she decides to complain to her good friend Misuzu about her troubles. Misuzu has seen Tomo's ample body when changing clothes, and she knows very well that Tomo actually has a very feminine side. She decides that whether they will try seducing or other methods, she must try every means to help Tomo win Junichiro's heart. She proposes to Tomo to change the tone of her speech and stop yelling like a boy. However, Tomo is not used to this way of speaking at all and appears very awkward. Not only does her tone not attract Junichiro, but she is ridiculed by him. Angry, Tomo can't help but punch Junichiro away. Junichiro is completely unaware of why Tomo is angry and soon gets back to joke with her. This makes Tomo more and more depressed, so she asks Misuzu again for help. This time, she is advised to have more personal contact with Junichiro, for example, by eating lunch together. Tomo is too shy to meet Junichiro alone for lunch, so she asks Misuzu to come with her. Although Misuzu also grows up with Junichiro, they have a really awful relationship, and the lunch ends in an awkward atmosphere. After school, this embarrassing situation happens again. Both Junichiro and Misuzu are trapped in the school building in the heavy rain, and since Tomo is not here, the two mercilessly begin to taunt each other. As a child, Misuzu often directed him and Tomo to play pranks. Whenever the prank was exposed, Misuzu always hid and left Junichiro and Tomo to be blamed. He considers Misuzu the most selfish person he has ever met. Misuzu fights back by taking advantage of Junichiro's fact that he can't leave without Tomo, saying that when Tomo has a boyfriend, she will abandon Junichiro. Furious, Junichiro pushes her directly into the rain. Just as their conflict is about to escalate, Tomo appears with an umbrella. In order to match Tomo and Junichiro, Misuzu takes the opportunity to let them go home together. Tomo, encouraged by Misuzu, shyly holds the same umbrella as Junichiro. She tries to keep her distance from Junichiro, but Junichiro says that he smells a fragrance from her and gets closer and closer. Tomo is so nervous that her face turns red and she quickly flees Junichiro's side. By the time Junichiro catches up with Tomo, she is already wet in the rain. The soaked clothes completely reveal her attractive figure. Junichiro doesn't know what to do with the scene and makes an excuse to flee in a panic. This is the first time he feels the feminine charm of Tomo. In fact, someone in Tomo's karate club notices Tomo's charm earlier than Junichiro, and his name is Kosuka. Since Tomo grew up practicing karate, there is no boy in the club who can defeat her. Everyone fears Tomo, but Kosuka loves Tomo and finds her every move and battle fascinating. He often finds opportunities to approach Tomo and compliment her on her charms. Tomo is unaware of Kosuka's affection for her and simply treats him as her friend. Since Kosuka is a popular handsome guy in school, the intimate relationship between him and Tomo immediately attracts the attention of two girls who pursue Kosuka. Out of jealousy of Tomo, they ask her to meet after school in an attempt to warn her not to approach Kosuka. Tomo thinks they are trying to fight her, and happily agrees. Then, in order to show her ability, she casually crumples the soda can in her hand, leaving the two girls dumbfounded. After school, Tomo shows a fighting posture and intends to have a fight with them. The girls have long been frightened by Tomo and nervously express their love for Kosuka. Tomo misunderstands that the girls come to her to discuss love topics as a recognition of her femininity, and happily agrees to help them pursue Kosuka. At this moment, Tomo's being heroic deeply attracts the girls. Not only do they no longer hate Tomo, but they often find opportunities to approach her. It seems that Tomo's charm is slowly exposed. One day, Tomo and Junichiro are riding the subway to school, and Tomo is harassed by a horny man. She doesn't want Junichiro to see her embarrassment and tries to endure it. Unexpectedly, Junichiro keenly detects the horny man's movements. He subdues the horny man and sends him to the police station. Tomo is touched by Junichiro's actions, and this is the first time she is treated as a girl by Junichiro. However, she soon stops being touched because of Junichiro, who suddenly suggests that she wear long pants in the future, on the grounds that she does not look good in a skirt. Tomo angrily punches Junichiro and then complains to Misuzu about Junichiro's criticism of her appearance. based on what happened to Tomo. Misuzu astutely points out that Junichiro is worried that Tomo will encounter horny men again in the future. Hearing this, Tomo becomes moved again. Misuzu turns her attention to Tomo's skirt and finds that she has been wearing long safety pants. She believes that Tomo should take off her safety pants to better show her femininity. Tomo is shy about this suggestion and hesitates for a long time before adopting Misuzu's suggestion. After school, Tomo and Junichiro go home together. Tomo is expecting Junichiro to notice her new look, only to find that Junichiro doesn't even look at her. In fact, Junichiro has long been influenced by Tomo's dress. He does not dare to look at Tomo and also does not allow others to look at her, being full of hostility towards all the men along the way. Junichiro does not realize that he has become possessive about Tomo. Just as Junichiro is about to hurry home to get rid of this nervousness, a gust of wind blows up Tomo's dress, and he is instantly stimulated by the sight and faints. In the next few days, Junichiro wants to treat Tomo as a boy, just like he used to, but he gradually realizes that he can no longer do that. Tomo is completely unaware of Junichiro's thoughts and is still wondering how to improve her femininity. To do this, she finds Carol, the most popular girl in her class, and asks for ways to improve her charm. Carol has been engaged to Kosuka since she was a child and has always loved Kosuka. Tomo thinks that with her friendship with Kosuka, it must be easy for her to approach Carol. To her surprise, Carol rejects her desperately. Tomo tells Misuzu about what happened to her with doubts. Misuzu is not as innocent as Tomo, and immediately judges that Carol regards Tomo as a rival in love. Based on this clue, Misuzu comes up with a brilliant way to resolve the misunderstanding. She finds Carol alone and points out that in order to defeat her rival in love Tomo, she must become stronger than Tomo. Immediately afterward, she says that Junichiro is good at fitness and suggests that Carol find Junichiro to learn fitness. Carol can't figure out how to deal with Tomo for the time being, and decisively takes Misuzu's advice. Since Junichiro has always been enthusiastic, Carol doesn't have much trouble convincing him to teach her fitness. After that, they spend a lot of time doing sports together every day. This quickly catches Tomo's attention. Enraged by the intimate gestures they make during the fitness, Tomo teaches Junichiro a hard lesson and warns him to keep his distance from girls. Junichiro doesn't understand why Tomo is angry, while Carol is keenly aware that the person Tomo likes is Junichiro. She feels guilty for her previous hostility towards Tomo and offers to make friends with Tomo. Carol doesn't expect much from her proposals, since she was ostracized by girls from a young age because of her charm, and no one wants to be friends with her. Plus, she was once hostile to Tomo. To Carol's surprise, Tomo doesn't care about their previous conflict and agrees happily. At this moment, Carol is completely impressed by Tomo's charm. In fact, Tomo still has a little apprehension about making friends with Carol. She is worried that Junichiro will like Carol and finds an opportunity to ask Junichiro about the girl he likes. However, Junichiro accidentally reveals something surprising, that he once dated Misuzu. Tomo, because of her secret crush on Junichiro, is afraid that she will expose her love for Junichiro if she asks him why he conceals it. So she finds Misuzu to ask about the fact, and Misuzu's answer surprises Tomo. The fact is that Junichiro and Misuzu had been in a relationship for only 3 days. When Junichiro was in his second year of junior high school, he proposed a relationship to Misuzu. At that time, Misuzu tried to be with him. However, on their first date, Junichiro took Misuzu to ride bikes, and they rode for 2 hours with a distance of 40 kilometers. Normal people definitely can't accept such an alternative way of dating, and Misuzu wanted to break up with him the next day, but Junichiro proposed to break up first, which made Misuzu feel very humiliated and feel like she was dumped. And it is also for this reason that Misuzu and Junichiro have always been in an awkward relationship. After school, Tomo goes to question Junichiro again, and Junichiro assures that he has no feelings for Misuzu anymore and now he doesn't have a crush on anybody, which makes Tomo finally relieved. After Tomo got jealous, soon Junichiro also has the same feeling. He discovers that Tomo and Kosuka have a good relationship, so he starts to bother Kosuka, and as a result, he is taught a lesson by Tomo. When Junichiro is out of school, he happens to meet Kosuka, who is also waiting for the bus. I believe everyone has a similar experience, that you will meet the person that you hate or you are afraid of when you are waiting for the bus. Right now Kosuka is experiencing the same mood as you were at that time, and he feels Junichiro is unfriendly to him. While taking the bus, Junichiro remembers that Tomo warned him to get along well with Kosuka, so he tries to chat with Kosuka in a kind way. The relationship between Kosuka and Junichiro has improved a lot, and Kosuka finds that this junior is not so scary. After this incident, Misuzu continues playing a love strategist of Tomo, and she suggests that Tomo take the initiative to ask Junichiro out to buy clothes and sing. Tomo follows Misuzu's advice to ask Junichiro, who agrees without hesitation, and Junichiro's expectant face makes him look like a puppy ready to go out. After school, Misuzu and Carol take Tomo to buy clothes for the date. And with the help of two people who know fashion well, Tomo finds the most suitable style for herself. Soon the day for the date comes. Tomo changes from a complete tomboy to a sunny and cheerful girl, though looking calm. Junichiro is actually so shocked that it seems there is an earthquake with a magnitude of 8 in his heart. At the invitation of Tomo, Junichiro goes to KTV with her, and Tomo is so nervous that she has long forgotten that Misuzu and Carol told her to sit next to Junichiro. Tomo sings first in order to get rid of embarrassment, but unfortunately, she rarely comes to sing, and she knows just a few songs. Eventually, she sings nursery rhymes for 3 hours alone. Junichiro, who always likes to tease Tomo, unusually does not speak this time, holding his mobile phone to record the moments when Tomo is singing. This date is a great failure for Tomo, who wants to make herself more girly, so she begins to carefully observe the female classmates around her. The girls often hold each other tenderly to play games. Misuzu can tell Tomo's yearning, and she asks Carol and Tomo to play the same game. Tomo is shocked when she hugs Carol on the rooftop, and Carol's supple skin and perfume make Tomo finally understand that she is different from ordinary girls. Tomo is very upset when she returns to the class to find Misuzu, and she feels that she is not a qualified girl at all. Later, she tries to hug other female classmates, but because Tomo often hugs other girls recently, Misuzu feels a little depressed about being alienated, and she always considers herself Tomo's closest female friend. So Misuzu asks Tomo to the rooftop. She overcomes her habit of not liking physical contact with others, and is held in her arms by Tomo, whose ample body makes Misuzu feel very inferior. The relationship between Misuzu and Tomo gets back to normal. She tells Tomo that she can hug Junichiro to deepen their relationship. At the prompt of Misuzu, Tomo decides to find a chance to try it. And after school, Tomo hugs Junichiro from behind, and Junichiro breaks free immediately, behaving very abnormally. He warns Tomo not to hug others casually in the future. Tomo is very angry since Junichiro often hugs and holds her when he jokes with her. In the end, Tomo beats Junichiro up. Even on weekends, Junichiro can't get rid of being beaten up. He comes to wake Tomo up, but Tomo doesn't want someone she likes to suddenly break into her bedroom and see her ugly face when she is asleep, so she beats Junichiro up again. Tomo completely inherits the violence and good figure from her mother Akemi, who hates being called her aunt the most, and she thinks that calling her aunt will age her, but Junichiro forgets it and calls her aunt. As a result, his face is almost torn off by Akemi. Akemi is still showing her fierce side at breakfast, and Tomo's father, Goro, is a man of vigor outside, but every time he meets Akemi, he will become very shy. Goro often does not return home because of shyness, and lives directly in the karate school he runs. This couple has not had intimate interactions for a long time, which makes Akemi very dissatisfied. After breakfast, Akemi follows Tomo and Junichiro to the karate school. After she just lightly touches Goro's shoulder, this tall man immediately becomes very shy and faints. Tomo privately chats with Junichiro about her opinion of her parents. Goro is shy when facing Akemi, but every time Akemi is in danger, it is Goro who rushes to protect her. Junichiro knows for the first time that sometimes it is possible to have love if someone is not good at expressing emotions. After returning to school, Junichiro smiles more and more, and Tomo is completely unaware of his abnormality. Love is always complicated. One day, Carol asks Misuzu and her crush Kosuka to the rooftop. She deliberately shows the complicated situation between herself and Kosuka in front of Misuzu, who finds that the situation of them is very similar to that between Tomo and Junichiro. Kosuka does not regard Carol as the opposite sex, but a sister. When he sees that there is something dirty on Carol's chest, he even does not feel embarrassed and directly helps her wipe it off with his hand. Misuzu also doesn't know how to help Carol. Meanwhile, two other people in need of help find Tomo. They previously misunderstood that Tomo liked Kosuka, and have become friends with Tomo after the misunderstanding was dissolved. One of the girls, Ogawa, went to a social event not long ago and was favored by a hooligan from a senior grade who has a group of bad students around him. These bad students often play with girls' feelings, and Ogawa is afraid of retaliation if she refuses the senior's confession. Though not good at falling in love, Tomo is completely powerful in fighting, so she helps Ogawa reject the hooligan, which angers him. The hooligan says that he will definitely come to take revenge with his companions, only to be kicked to the wall by Tomo. Even Hulk can't resist the power of this kick. Tomo tells the two girls that it was her who did this, so if the hooligan takes revenge in the future, he will definitely come to find her first. Tomo's guess is right. The hooligan immediately gathers a group of students after school, intending to fight against Tomo. Coincidentally, Junichiro happens to pass by and hears what they say. He and Tomo have been practicing karate with Garo since childhood, so he is as good as Tomo at fighting. For Tomo, he immediately fights against 5 bad students. After the 5 bad students are taught a lesson, they obediently go to apologize to Tomo, who is happy to help Ogawa solve a big problem. Tomo notices the injury on Junichiro's face when they go home together, and Junichiro lies that he accidentally fell while walking. This man silently protects Tomo, just like how Goro protects Akemi. Later, Junichiro invites Tomo to his house for the night and to play games, but neither of them feels anything wrong, and they often went to each other's house to spend the night when they were young. After parting from Junichiro, Tomo finally realizes something wrong. Both she and Junichiro are adolescents, so no one can guarantee that they will not have intimate interactions if they sleep in one room. Tomo wants to find a random reason to reject it, while Misuzu and Carol will not waste this opportunity to improve the relationship between Tomo and Junichiro, and they force Tomo to go to Junichiro's house for the night. Tomo decides to tell her mother and father that she is going to spend the night at someone else's house, hoping that her parents will be worried about her and not let her go. However, Tomo's mother, Akemi, is really looking forward to her daughter's story with Junichiro, and has even begun to think about the name for her grandson who is not yet born. Tomo's father, Goro, looks very strict, but, just like Akemi, he is completely unworried about his daughter spending the night at someone else's house. Tomo arrives at Junichiro's house nervously, just in time for Junichiro's parents to go on a trip. Junichiro doesn't think there is a problem with his parents not being at home, but Tomo has always had a crush on Junichiro, and she can't help but associate it with the stories in adult novels. During the meal, Junichiro invites Tomo to take a bath in the large bathtub. When Tomo hears that Junichiro has just finished bathing, she immediately imagines him wearing no clothes. She is also afraid that the smell of Junichiro in the bathtub will make her start fantasizing again, so she chooses to take a shower standing up, and she almost can't resist getting her face into the bathtub during the shower. Junichiro is experiencing the same mood. He keeps slapping his face to prevent himself from fantasizing about the scene in the bathroom, and when Tomo comes out of the shower, Junichiro's face has been swollen. However, the awkwardness between them is soon driven away by the games. Tomo and Junichiro seem to return to their childhood, and they burst into a strong sense of competitiveness. Soon, it is already 10 o'clock. Sleepy, they have to put down the controllers and rest early. Tomo sleeps in Junichiro's bed, and the smell of the boy keeps getting into her nose, which makes Tomo, who was still very sleepy just now, suddenly wide awake. Junichiro has fallen asleep on the floor. Previously, Tomo didn't dare to look at him squarely, and now she can take this opportunity to observe Junichiro up close. In an instant, she comes to be interested in secretly teasing him, but is caught by the half-asleep Junichiro, and the two people cling to each other. Tomo, who dares not to wake Junichiro up, can only let him hold her, and they spend the night in this intimate posture. Since this night, the relationship between the two has improved. On Tomo's birthday, Junichiro gives her a pair of sunglasses, and Tomo is very happy. She is older than Junichiro and Misuzu, and every birthday she will ask her friends to call her older sister. Misuzu and Carol also give Tomo gifts after Junichiro. Misuzu wants Tomo to improve her grades and gives her reference books. Carol's family is very rich, and she directly gives Tomo a huge nugget worth a house. Tomo, who dares not receive it, quickly refuses Carol's kindness. The 3 girls agree to hold a birthday party for Tomo on the weekend. And on Saturday, Misuzu and Carol give Tomo a surprise gift, which is to change Tomo's outfit so that this busty girl can further enhance her feminine charm. Misuzu and Carol are busy doing it for a long time, successfully turning Tomo into another style. They don't put heavy makeup on Tomo's face, mainly changing a dress for Tomo and putting on a long wig for her. Misuzu specifically instructs Tomo to speak as quietly and gently as possible from now on. Immediately after, Misuzu asks Tomo to buy things. She doesn't just play tricks, but hopes that Tomo will gradually adapt to being more feminine in her daily life. Tomo comes to the convenience store with a red face, and the boys are attracted by her charm. Tomo misunderstands that everyone is disgusted with her dress, and more awkwardly, Tomo meets Junichiro in the store. She runs away after shopping, but because she is not used to wearing high heels, she falls to the ground, and Junichiro helps her up when he passes by, thinking that the girl in front of him is similar to Tomo. The two walk together for a while, and Tomo is taller than usual because of her high heels, which makes Junichiro even more unaware that the girl is Tomo. Tomo is also very nervous, so she does not take the initiative to identify herself. During the chat, Tomo is greatly praised by Junichiro, who rarely praises people, but this time he praises the girl who walks with him for being dressed beautifully. As they pass the soccer field by the river, they see a group of children playing football, including a little boy who has a good relationship with the little girl. It reminds Junichiro of himself and Tomo when they were children. Junichiro does not feel pressured when staying with strangers, and he takes the initiative to mention the strange relationship between himself and a girl, saying that he has not yet thought about whether he wants to be a friend or a lover with her. Tomo knows that she is Junichiro's friend that he mentioned, and it arouses mixed feelings in her heart. After parting from Junichiro, Tomo returns to Misuzu's house. When Misuzu hears that Tomo met Junichiro by chance, she laments the fate between them, while proposing to help Tomo put on cute makeup next time to attract Junichiro. For Tomo, it is the most comfortable to be her true self. She is cheerful in her daily life, which is very similar to a boy, and no one in the girls group can compete with her in the dodgeball competition organized by the school. So Tomo is assigned to the boys group. On the day of the game, the team of Tomo and Junichiro meets the senior who was beaten twice by them, and the senior is so frightened to see them that he gives up the game. Immediately after, they meet their acquaintance, Kosuke, who is well aware of Tomo's strength and simply gives up counterattacks. After the competition begins, Kosuke is soon out. In the final, Tomo and Junichiro face a strong opponent, Goma, who is from grade 3 in high school and is as burly as Garo. He is much more powerful than his peers, eliminating several opponents as the competition begins. In order to protect Tomo, Junichiro is hit by Goma. In fact, he is simply hit by the ball and is out, but he acts like he is hit by a bullet and sacrifices his life. Tomo strikes her strongest blow to avenge Junichiro, and finally turns the tables and eliminates Goma with the cooperation of her teammates. Junichiro puts his arm around Tomo when they accept the award, and they enjoy the intimate moment, especially Tomo, who privately tells Misuzu that it would be nice if she could be both a lover and a good friend with Junichiro. Junichiro has more complicated feelings for Tomo. He moved in to be a neighbor with Tomo many years ago. Tomo has a cheerful personality, and the two quickly became friends. Junichiro was also impressed by Tomo's parents, both of whom are strong, but they are not fierce at all, but very friendly. Later, Tomo introduced Misuzu to Junichiro, and although this new friend always argued with him, Junichiro could avoid having no friends and playing alone. The relationship of the three had constantly improved, but strictly speaking, it is Tomo who acts as a mediator, and without her to reconcile, perhaps Misuzu and Junichiro would not have become friends even if they knew each other. One day, Junichiro's game console was snatched away by other children. Tomo immediately helped him fight and get back the game console. This made Junichiro touched, but also made his pride a bit destroyed, so he lent the game console to Tomo, promising to get it back if he was stronger than Tomo one day. From then on, Junichiro became a student of Garo and embarked on a long journey of learning. Junichiro and Tomo are the younger Akemi and Garo. Neither of them is good at expressing, and they both have strong pectorals. During the summer vacation, the protagonists come to the beach to play, and when Junichiro sees Tomo's ample body, he subconsciously zips her up to protect her, almost suffocating her. Because of Tomo's and Carol's ample bodies, Junichiro, afraid of losing control to do something, can only stay away from them and stay with Misuzu, who is not busty. Tomo, however, refuses to let Junichiro go, taking him to play in the sea. Afterward, Carol accidentally rests her body on Junichiro's arm, causing Tomo to be very jealous. Later, Carol learns from Misuzu that Junichiro likes girls with good shapes. In fact, most boys are like Junichiro, such as the strange boy who takes the initiative to pick up Tomo. The boy is very cunning, who deliberately puts his hand on Tomo's chest and tries to take Tomo to a place where no one is, and Junichiro immediately stops him. Not only Tomo is in danger, but Carol is also surrounded by a group of boys because of her good figure, and Junichiro immediately rushes to save her. Girls who are too good-looking are always harassed, and Junichiro directly takes Tomo away from the crowd. After that, he is attracted to Tomo when he sees her eating an ice cream, and when Tomo runs around the beach holding Junichiro's hand, Junichiro is as weak as if he is sick. On the way back, Junichiro puts a serious look on his face. Misuzu silently notices the changes in him, and she has a strong premonition that after Junichiro has seen Tomo's ample body, he can no longer treat her as a brother. Soon, a new semester begins, and bad students, who have previously been beaten by Tomo and Junichiro, intend to kidnap Misuzu in retaliation. Carol sees this when passing by and uses the electric shock device she carries with her to save Misuzu. When they are about to flee, Carol steps on puddles and falls, which sets a foreshadowing for the misunderstanding that follows. Misuzu and Carol hide in an abandoned factory nearby. They call Junichiro and Tomo for help, and Kosuke happens to overhear the conversation. When he arrives at the factory to rescue Carol, he runs into Carol changing out of dirty clothes wet with puddles. Kosuke misunderstands that the bad students are perverts and did bad things to Carol, immediately heading to avenge Carol. At this point, the bad students have already been beaten by Junichiro and Tomo. Carol chases after Kosuke to tell him the truth, and she is glad that she can be cared about so much. After this incident, Kosuke goes to the dojo run by Goro. Kosuke has always had a crush on Carol and is determined to make himself stronger in order to protect the girl he likes. Goro arranges for Junichiro and Kosuke to practice together, and Junichiro accidentally knocks him unconscious. When Kosuke wakes up, Tomo is taking care of him. During the chat, Kosuke reveals his crush on Carol, and the boy becomes more confident with Tomo's encouragement. Kosuke and Tomo become close, which causes Carol to be very jealous. She deliberately asks Junichiro to her house and kisses him, trying to make Kosuke feel jealous, but she scares Junichiro away, who runs so fast that even Usain Bolt will admit defeat when he sees this. Later, Carol tells Misuzu about her plan. Seeing the dark side of Carol, Misuzu is a little wary, and she just wants to get Carol and Kosuke together as soon as possible to avoid affecting the relationship between Junichiro and Tomo. So Misuzu asks Kosuke out, and they make a love battle plan after discussion. Misuzu deliberately lies to Carol that Kosuke just treats her as a sister, hoping that Carol will go to Kosuke to reveal her feelings in order to save the relationship. But Carol is very sad and runs home in tears. Knowing this, Kosuke rushes to comfort Carol to tell her the truth. With Misuzu's plan, the two finally confess their love to each other. Just as they are about to kiss, Carol's mother suddenly appears and sabotages the romance. I guess the screenwriter never shows us any kisses unless it's between two girls. After this incident, Carol kisses Misuzu to thank her for her help. Peace doesn't last long in school, which is then broken by students' hormones. One day, a marathon is held in school, and Tomo falls while she is running. When Junichiro checks on her, he finds she has got a fever. Under Junichiro's questioning, Tomo tells the truth. She is eager to win and goes for a run every night. Last night, she was so tired that she slept in the bathroom all night. Fortunately, Junichiro sends Tomo to treatment immediately. And finally, things don't get worse. In return, Tomo gives Junichiro a watch on his birthday, which she bought with the money she earned by working part-time during the holiday because she wants them to wear the couple watches. However, Junichiro never knows Tomo's intention, and Tomo asks Misuzu how to make Junichiro treat her like a girl. Misuzu tells Tomo that she can let Junichiro touch her chest, and Tomo, who is conservative, rejects Misuzu's idea, so Misuzu changes her plan. She deliberately pushes Junichiro down the stairs, while Tomo waits at the bottom of the stairs in advance to catch Junichiro, so that the two will hug together. The special touch will definitely make Junichiro treat Tomo as a girl. However, with his agility, Junichiro avoids hitting Tomo, and he accidentally touches Carol's chest when she is passing by. As a result, Tomo almost kills Junichiro out of jealousy. After this incident, they usher in the school anniversary event, on which Tomo is playing the prince in Cinderella. Due to her ample body, her clothes rip open, which shocks all boys on the spot. Not long after this rehearsal, the time of the official performance comes, and the prince played by Tomo is very popular. Misuzu plays the role of Cinderella. When they are performing, Misuzu suddenly realizes that Tomo does not need to change into a cute, gentle girl. With such a boyish and cheerful personality, she is very attractive, and Junichiro is still attracted to Tomo. After the school anniversary event, he asks Tomo to the rooftop and confesses to her. Tomo is so nervous that she flees back to the classroom without a response, just like a coward when facing love. Misuzu can't bear to see Tomo hesitating, and she reflects on herself in tears, thinking it was she who misled Tomo and caused Tomo to be less confident. As long as Tomo keeps her original personality, she is very attractive. After a brief shock, Tomo perks up and finds Junichiro to accept his confession of love. After 12 episodes, the screenwriter finally shows us such warm and sweet plots before the ending. On Christmas, Tomo invites Junichiro to watch a romance movie. Misuzu says that there are kissing scenes in the movie, which may promote the first kiss between Tomo and Junichiro. During the movie, Tomo finds there are even adults-only plots, making her so shy. At the same time, she finds Junichiro is watching it very seriously. Tomo guesses that Junichiro has suppressed his desire since he has been single for so many years and is very distressed. So she goes to his house at night, offering to kiss him. To keep his sanity, Junichiro punches himself. He has never had an intimate interaction with Tomo because they are not officially in a relationship. Hearing this, Tomo is furious. She thinks they have already been in a relationship because she responded to Junichiro's confession last time. She asks him about it and finally knows that her father strongly disagrees with their relationship unless Junichiro can defeat him. Tomo immediately rushes home to argue with Garo, who is afraid that Junichiro will not value Tomo, so he sets up a test. But Tomo does not understand her father's intentions. Fortunately, at the end of the story, Junichiro finally awakens, and he plucks up the courage to challenge Goro. Tomo also arrives to cheer for Junichiro, and Goro, seeing Junichiro's bravery, deliberately shows flaws and loses the match, promoting the relationship between Junichiro and Tomo. After the match, Junichiro immediately confesses his love to Tomo, who responds to it with an affectionate kiss. It seems that the two have both suppressed their desire for so long and need to release it. In adolescence, love can be satisfactory or regrettable. Whether you like or don't like the ending of this anime, there will be more new excellent anime in April, including some romance anime like Tomo-chan is a Girl, and some hot anime like Transmigration and Harem anime. If you want to see the recap of the latest anime in April, don't forget to like and subscribe.